Have you ever wondered what truly sets highly intelligent people apart from the rest? In a world where knowledge is everywhere, only a select few possess the unique traits that define true intelligence. In this video, we're going to explore the 9 characteristics of a very intelligent person that 93% of people do not have. These traits go beyond just IQ, they're about how we think, act, and navigate life. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these rare qualities, but also discover how to cultivate them in your own life. Stay with us until the end. You might just realize that you have more of these traits than you think, or find the inspiration to develop them further. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Avoid complete isolation. One of the most heart-wrenching experiences that many people face as they grow older is the slow, creeping sense of isolation. It's not something that happens all at once. Rather, it's a subtle shift that can go unnoticed until it's overwhelming. As the years pass, routines settle in, and without realizing it, days begin to blur together with only minimal interaction with others. Sometimes it's a brief conversation with a delivery person, or a polite nod to a neighbor, but nothing that truly feeds the soul. And before you know it, those days turn into weeks, and those weeks turn into months, with little more than silence filling the spaces where laughter and conversation once thrived. I've come across countless stories of older adults who have found themselves in this exact situation. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. They may have told themselves that they were simply enjoying the peace after years of busyness. But then, little by little, they realized how disconnected they had become, not just from their social circles, but from life itself. The phone calls that once came regularly have slowed down. The invites to family gatherings become less frequent. And the bustling community activities they once enjoyed start to feel like distant memories. The realization that they've become isolated can be incredibly painful. This is why it's so important to make a conscious and deliberate effort to stay connected with others. Human beings are inherently social creatures, and while solitude has its place, we all need meaningful interactions to thrive emotionally and mentally. It's not just about having people around, it's about feeling seen, heard, and understood. Even the smallest gestures of connection can create ripples of warmth and joy in your life. It might seem challenging, but it's essential for your well-being. One of the easiest ways to combat isolation is to get involved in social activities. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. There are so many simple ways to stay connected. For some, it could be as easy as joining a local club or group that aligns with their interests. Many communities offer book clubs, walking groups, or hobby-focused gatherings where like-minded individuals can come together. If getting out of the house is a challenge, there are even virtual groups that provide the same sense of camaraderie. The beauty of today's world is that technology allows us to connect with others, no matter the distance. Whether it's through social media, video calls, or even online forums, the opportunity to engage with others is just a click away. One particularly touching story I came across involved an elderly woman who, after years of living alone, found herself feeling more isolated than ever. She had always been independent, but as time went on, her social circle grew smaller. Friends moved away and family members became busy with their own lives. She decided to start volunteering at a local animal shelter just once a week. That simple decision changed her life. Not only did it give her a sense of purpose and structure, but it also introduced her to a new community of people who shared her passion for animals. She formed friendships with the other volunteers and found herself looking forward to her weekly visits. Suddenly, her days felt brighter, and the world didn't seem so lonely anymore. The joy and fulfillment she experienced through those connections were life-changing. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's these kinds of stories that drive home the importance of not waiting for loneliness to creep in. Being proactive about maintaining social connections is key to leading a fulfilling life, no matter your age. Even something as simple as a weekly phone call with a loved one can make a huge difference. Knowing that someone is thinking of you and cares enough to check in can lift your spirits in ways you may not even realize. And don't underestimate the power of casual interactions either. A coffee date with a friend, attending a local meetup, or even chatting with a neighbor can create moments of connection that leave lasting impressions. Of course, I understand that maintaining social connections isn't always easy, especially if you're dealing with mobility issues or live in a rural area. But the key is to find what works best for you. Sometimes, it's about getting creative and thinking outside the box. Perhaps you could write letters to old friends or join a pen pal program to connect with someone new. If you're able to, consider joining community service groups or volunteering. It's a great way to meet new people while giving back in a meaningful way. You could even start small by scheduling regular check-ins with family members or rekindling old friendships. You never know who might be eager to reconnect as well. The most important thing is to be intentional about these efforts. You don't wait until you're overwhelmed by feelings of loneliness to start reaching out. It's something that takes time and consistency. You don't have to be surrounded by people every day, but those small, cherished moments of connection, a laugh shared over lunch, a comforting conversation, a handwritten note can bring so much light into your life. These interactions, however brief, remind us that we are part of something bigger and that we matter to others. The truth is, we all need each other. Human connection is one of the most powerful forces for keeping our spirits alive, for filling our hearts with joy, and for reminding us that we are not alone in this world. No matter how independent or self-sufficient you are, we all crave the warmth of companionship, the comfort of a familiar voice, and the simple joy of being in the company of others. So I urge you, don't hesitate. Take that first step to reconnect with the world around you, whether it's calling up an old friend, joining a local group, or even smiling at a stranger. Those small, meaningful interactions have the power to change everything. You deserve to feel valued, to feel seen, and to experience the love and joy that comes from being connected to others. Every effort, no matter how small, counts, and it can truly make all the difference in the world. Remember, it's never too late to rediscover the beauty of companionship. It's never too late to step out of isolation and into a life filled with warmth, purpose, and connection. The world is waiting for you, and you are worthy of all the love and joy it has to offer. Take that leap, and you'll find that your life can be richer and more fulfilling than you ever imagined. 2. Avoid neglecting your health. As we get older, maintaining our health becomes increasingly important. Yet it's also incredibly easy to let those small but vital routines slip, especially when you're living alone. Without someone there to remind you to take your medications, attend your doctor's appointments, or even get outside for some fresh air and movement, the temptation to slack off can be all too real. I've heard so many stories from older adults who found themselves in this exact situation, where the little things, those checkups, medications, or even a quick walk around the block slowly fell by the wayside. And unfortunately, those small neglects can lead to bigger, more serious health problems over time. One older gentleman shared a story that stuck with me. He used to tell himself that his doctor's appointments or routine checkups could wait. I'll get to it next week, he thought. And then next week turned into next month. And before he knew it, months had passed. By the time he finally made it to his appointment, his health had deteriorated far more than he had realized. What started as something minor had grown into a more serious issue, simply because he kept putting off his care. His words of wisdom: don't wait. Set reminders on your phone, jot things down in a calendar, or even ask someone you trust to help keep you accountable. Your future self will thank you. Creating a routine is essential when it comes to taking care of your physical health. You don't need to run a marathon or engage in intense workouts, but gentle daily movement can do wonders for both your body and your mind. Something as simple as a daily walk, some gentle stretching in the mornings, or even a few minutes of light exercise each day can dramatically improve your energy levels and overall well-being. If getting out of the house is difficult, try some seated exercises or yoga. You'll be amazed at how much better you'll feel with just a little bit of movement each day. The important thing is to start and be consistent. Even small steps toward improving your physical health can lead to significant, long-lasting benefits. However, it's not just your physical health that matters. Your mental and emotional well-being are equally important, and yet they're often overlooked. Living alone can sometimes make it easier to bottle up emotions, whether it's feelings of anxiety, sadness, or loneliness. And while it may feel easier to push those emotions aside, doing so can take a serious toll on your mental health. We often underestimate the impact that our emotional state can have on our overall health, but the two are deeply intertwined. One of the most compassionate things you can do for yourself is to acknowledge your emotions and find healthy ways to process them. If you find yourself feeling anxious, lonely, or overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out to someone, a friend, a family member, or even a therapist. Talking to someone about what you're going through can be a huge relief. It's a way to lighten the emotional load. And sometimes just hearing another person say, "I understand," can make all the difference in the world. And if you feel like your emotional challenges are too much to handle alone, don't be afraid to seek professional help. There's no shame in talking to a therapist, especially if it helps you feel more centered and at peace. Taking care of your mental health could also mean finding ways to bring joy and relaxation into your life. Whether it's pursuing a hobby you love, engaging in mindfulness or meditation, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of tea in the morning sunlight. Those small moments of self-care can nourish your soul in profound ways. Emotional health is about more than just avoiding negative feelings. It's about actively seeking out experiences that bring you joy and comfort. Surround yourself with positivity, whether it's through nature, creative pursuits, or spending time with loved ones. It's also worth remembering that health isn't just about reacting to problems as they arise, it's about preventative care. This means keeping up with regular checkups, following prescribed medications, eating nourishing foods, and keeping both your body and mind active. Think of it as investing in your future self. Every bit of effort you put in now will pay off later in the form of more energy, more strength, and a better quality of life. And just as importantly, staying healthy helps you maintain your independence, which is a priceless gift as we grow older. So, the next time you're tempted to skip an appointment or delay taking your medications, remember that every choice you make for your health matters. It's about protecting your well-being so you can continue living a life filled with vitality, purpose, and joy. You owe it to yourself to take care of your health, both physical and mental, because when you feel good, everything else in life becomes so much more manageable. In the end, taking care of your health is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. It's a promise you make to your body, your mind, and your spirit that you will treat yourself with the care and respect you deserve. Whether it's sticking to a routine for physical activity, seeking out emotional support, or simply remembering to take your medications on time. Each step you take is an investment in your future. You deserve to live a long, healthy, and fulfilling life, and it starts with the choices you make today. 3. Avoid ignoring safety concerns. As you get older, living alone can be wonderfully peaceful, but it also comes with certain risks that can't be ignored. Safety is one of those things that we often take for granted until something happens that makes us realize how vulnerable we can be. It's easy to think, I've lived here for years, and nothing bad has happened, or I know my home like the back of my hand, but the truth is, as we age, accidents can happen in the blink of an eye, and the consequences can be much more serious. One story that struck me was from a woman who shared her experience on a senior living forum. She had a minor fall in her kitchen, nothing catastrophic, but it left her unable to reach her phone for hours. Can you imagine the fear and helplessness she must have felt, lying there, unable to call for help? It was a wake-up call for her. After that experience, she decided to invest in a personal emergency response system. These systems are a godsend for those living alone. They're small devices, often worn as pendants or bracelets, with a button that, when pressed, can immediately summon help. Knowing that assistance is just a button press away gave her back a sense of control and security in her own home. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. The beauty of taking these safety precautions is that they don't just protect you physically, they also help ease the mental burden of worry. It's natural to have some concerns about what if situations, what if you fall, what if you can't reach your phone, what if someone breaks in. But rather than letting these concerns weigh you down, or worse, ignoring them entirely, taking proactive steps can put your mind at ease. Think about simple ways you can enhance your home's safety. Something as basic as ensuring you have adequate lighting in key areas of your home can make a world of difference. Hallways, staircases, and bathrooms are notorious for being places where accidents happen, especially in dim lighting. It's worth investing in night lights or brighter bulbs to keep these areas well lit, even if you're just getting up in the middle of the night. It's such a small adjustment, but it can prevent dangerous trips or falls that could have long-lasting consequences. In addition to lighting, consider installing security measures such as cameras or smart locks. These tools can give you an added layer of protection and reassurance, especially if you live in a more isolated area or if you're far from family. A glance at a security camera can let you know exactly who's at your door without having to guess or open it blindly. Some systems even allow you to speak through your phone or a smart device to someone at the door, which can be invaluable in preventing unwanted visitors or scams targeting older adults. I've also heard countless stories of people who find great comfort in having a trusted neighbor check in on them regularly. This could be as simple as someone knocking on your door every few days, or sending a quick text to make sure everything's okay. Building a sense of community, even in a small way, can make you feel much less alone and more secure. Sometimes, just knowing that someone nearby has your back can bring immense peace of mind. Another important aspect of safety is to plan for the unexpected. None of us like to think about emergencies, but having a plan in place can be life-saving. And make sure your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide alarms are in working order. Keep a list of emergency contacts in an easily accessible place. And make sure you have a clear plan for how to get help if something goes wrong. Whether it's a medical emergency or something like a power outage, knowing what steps to take in advance can prevent panic and ensure you get the help you need quickly. It's also essential to make sure your home is as fall-proof as possible. As we get older, our balance and coordination may not be what they once were, making falls a significant risk. Take the time to look around your home and identify potential hazards. Are there loose rugs or cluttered pathways that could cause you to trip? Do you have grab bars in your bathroom or near stairs to help steady yourself? These small modifications can drastically reduce the chances of an accident and keep you safe in the place you feel most comfortable, your own home. It's important to strike a balance between feeling safe and not becoming overly anxious about every possible risk. The goal isn't to live in fear or to turn your home into a fortress, but rather to make small, thoughtful adjustments that allow you to feel secure and protected. Living alone doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your safety or peace of mind. It's about taking ownership of your environment and making sure it supports your well-being in every way possible. And remember, safety isn't just physical, it's about creating an environment where you can live with confidence, knowing that you've done everything you can to protect yourself. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're prepared for whatever may come. And that's a priceless gift you can give yourself. So take those steps today to ensure your safety. Your home should always be a place of comfort and security, where you can relax and enjoy life without constantly worrying about what if you deserve that peace. And with a few proactive measures, it's entirely within your reach. 4. Avoid developing unhealthy habits. Living alone offers a wonderful sense of freedom, a space to make your own choices without compromise. But with that freedom can come subtle, harmful behaviors that slowly chip away at your well-being. When no one else is around to notice or gently remind you to make healthier choices, it's all too easy to fall into patterns that can damage your health in the long run. Whether it's overeating, skipping exercise, or indulging in that extra glass of wine, these habits can take root before you even realize it. One particularly touching story I came across was from a woman who had lost her spouse. After his passing, she found herself filling the emptiness in her life by snacking in front of the television for hours on end. There was no one there to share meals with, no one to comment on her habits. And in that silence, she started using food as comfort. It wasn't until months had passed that she realized how much this new habit was impacting her. Her energy levels were plummeting, her mood was constantly low, and she felt disconnected from her own body. It wasn't just the physical changes that affected her, it was also the mental weight of knowing she wasn't taking care of herself the way she deserved. This realization prompted her to make a powerful change. She began planning and preparing real meals, sitting down to eat even though she was alone, and giving her days more structure. This simple act of intentional eating not only improved her physical health, but also helped her regain a sense of control and balance in her life. Preparing meals became a form of self-care, a ritual that reminded her that she was worth the effort. It gave her a sense of purpose and brought a kind of mindfulness to her day that had been missing. This is such an important reminder for all of us. Living alone means we have to be even more mindful of the habits we develop because no one else is there to give us that gentle nudge when we start slipping into unhealthy patterns. But it's never too late to create new, healthier routines, ones that nourish your body and mind instead of depleting them. And the key is to start small. Don't pressure yourself to completely overhaul your life all at once, because that kind of change can feel overwhelming. Instead, set realistic, achievable goals that you can build on over time. For example, start by cooking a healthy meal a few times a week. It doesn't have to be elaborate or time-consuming, just something that feels nourishing and satisfying. Cooking for yourself can be a powerful act of self-love, a way of saying, I'm worth the effort, and I deserve to feel good. It's also a way to introduce structure into your day, especially if the freedom of living alone has left you without a clear routine. Preparing a meal at the same time each day can give you a sense of rhythm and predictability that can be incredibly comforting. Another simple yet impactful habit is moving your body regularly. You don't need to sign up for intense workouts or go to the gym every day to feel the benefits. Start with a short walk around your neighborhood, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, just to get your blood flowing and your mind clear. You might find that those few moments outside, breathing fresh air and feeling the sun on your face, become the highlight of your day. And if walking isn't an option, there are plenty of gentle exercises you can do from the comfort of your home. Stretching, yoga, or even light strength training can all help keep your body strong and flexible as you age. It's not just about physical health, though. Your mental and emotional well-being are deeply intertwined with your daily habits. When you're living alone, it can be easy to retreat inward, especially if loneliness creeps in. However, developing unhealthy habits like overeating or excessive drinking as a way to cope with these feelings can create a harmful cycle. Instead, focus on finding activities that bring you joy and connection. Pick up a hobby you've always wanted to try or rekindle an old passion that you let fall by the wayside. Hobbies can be a wonderful way to not only keep your mind active, but also to create something beautiful out of your alone time. Whether it's painting, knitting, gardening, or even learning a new instrument, these activities can fill your days with purpose and satisfaction. Balance is the key here. You don't have to strive for perfection, and it's important to be gentle with yourself if you slip up from time to time. Life isn't about rigid rules, it's about finding a healthy, sustainable rhythm that works for you. Treat yourself the way you would treat a dear friend, with kindness, compassion, and understanding. If you notice that you've developed a habit that's not serving you, don't berate yourself for it. Instead, take it as an opportunity to reflect and make small, positive changes that align with your values and goals. It's also important to reach out for help when you need it. If you find yourself struggling with unhealthy habits, whether they're related to food, alcohol, or something else, don't hesitate to talk to someone. A friend, a family member, or even a professional can offer support and guidance as you work toward creating a healthier lifestyle. There's no shame in admitting that you need help. It's a sign of strength to recognize when something isn't working and take steps to improve it. At the end of the day, your health is your greatest asset, and living alone doesn't mean you have to go without the support you need to maintain it. Be proactive in creating routines that honor your body, mind, and spirit. Celebrate the freedom that living alone gives you by making choices that nourish you, not harm you. Take care of yourself with the same love and attention that you would give to someone you care about, because you are worth it. In the journey of life, balance is everything. You have the power to create a life that is not only independent but also vibrant, healthy, and fulfilling. By being mindful of the habits you develop and taking small steps toward positive change, you can enjoy all the benefits of living alone without falling into the traps of unhealthy routines. You deserve to live a life full of vitality and joy, and it all starts with the choices you make today. 5. Avoid letting your home become a burden. As we move through different stages of life, our needs and priorities shift, and nowhere is that more evident than in the place we call home. A large house, once full of family and activity, can become a quiet space when you find yourself living alone. While many of us hold on to our homes out of love, nostalgia, and the comfort of familiar surroundings, that same space can slowly become overwhelming, both physically and emotionally. What was once a blessing, a hub of life and memories, can start to feel like a burden. The upkeep, the endless cleaning, the maintenance, it all adds up, and it can leave you feeling exhausted rather than comforted. I remember reading a story about a woman who found herself in this very situation. After her children had grown up and moved out, she remained in the family home for years, pouring her time and energy into maintaining it. Each room held memories, each corner a piece of her past. And while those memories were precious, the constant work required to keep the house running smoothly became a heavy weight on her shoulders. She admitted that part of her felt guilty for even considering downsizing, as if moving to a smaller space meant leaving behind the life she had built there. It took her a long time to come to terms with the idea, but eventually she made the brave decision to move into a smaller, more manageable home. The relief she felt after making that change was palpable. Not only did she free herself from the physical strain of maintaining a large house, but she also discovered a new sense of freedom in her life. She could enjoy her days without the constant worry of repairs, cleaning, or lawn care weighing on her mind. Her story is a powerful reminder that our homes are meant to serve us, not the other way around. Clinging to a space that no longer fits your lifestyle out of guilt or obligation can take a serious toll on your mental and physical well-being. And while the idea of downsizing can feel daunting or even heartbreaking, it can also be an incredibly liberating choice. By moving into a space that's easier to manage, you're giving yourself the gift of more time, more energy, and more peace. You'll find that life becomes a little lighter when you're no longer carrying the weight of an oversized home on your back. But of course, not everyone is ready or willing to make that kind of change, and that's perfectly okay. You don't have to downsize if it's not the right move for you. However, it's important to take a step back and assess your current situation. Ask yourself how much space you truly need, and more importantly, how much space you can comfortably manage on your own. Sometimes we hold on to homes that are far too big for our current needs simply because it's what we've always known. But living in a large home doesn't mean you have to tackle every chore or repair by yourself. There are ways to lighten the load without sacrificing the place you love. Consider hiring help for the tasks that feel too overwhelming or time-consuming. Whether it's lawn care, housekeeping, or basic home repairs, bringing in a bit of outside assistance can make all the difference. You don't need to do everything on your own, and there's no shame in asking for help. Delegating some of these responsibilities can give you more time to focus on the things that truly bring you joy, whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or simply relaxing in the comfort of your home. Your home should be a sanctuary, a place where you feel safe, comfortable, and at peace. If it starts to feel like a source of stress, it's worth considering what changes might make it a more manageable and enjoyable space for you. Maybe that means rearranging rooms to better suit your current lifestyle, or it could mean letting go of some of the clutter and possessions that no longer serve you. Simplifying your surroundings can bring a profound sense of relief and clarity. There's something incredibly calming about knowing that everything in your home has its place, and that maintaining it doesn't require an overwhelming amount of effort. It's also worth reflecting on the emotional attachment we have to our homes. Of course, every wall and every room holds memories, but memories aren't confined to a physical space. The love, laughter, and experiences that shaped your life are carried with you no matter where you go. Downsizing or making changes to your living situation doesn't erase the past. It simply allows you to create new memories in a space that better aligns with where you are now. Holding on to a home that no longer fits your needs doesn't make the memories any stronger. It only makes your present life more difficult to manage. If you do decide to stay in your current home, make sure it's working for you, not against you. Safety is also a crucial factor to consider as you age. Simple modifications like installing grab bars in the bathroom, improving lighting in stairways, or rearranging furniture to prevent falls can make your home more functional and secure. These changes don't have to be drastic, but they can significantly improve your quality of life, ensuring that your home remains a comfortable and safe place to live as you grow older. In the end, it's all about creating a space that supports the life you want to live now. Whether that means downsizing, hiring help, or making small adjustments to your current home, the goal is to ensure that your living situation adds to your happiness rather than detracting from it. You deserve to feel at ease in your own home, to enjoy your surroundings without feeling overwhelmed by them. Letting go of the idea that you need to hold onto a large house, simply because it's what you've always known, can be incredibly freeing. You might find that a smaller space feels cozier, more intimate, and easier to manage. Or you might decide that, with the right help, your current home can continue to be your sanctuary. Either way, the key is to listen to your needs, both practical and emotional, and make choices that bring you comfort and peace. Remember, your home is more than just a building, it's a reflection of where you are in life. As your needs evolve, your space should evolve with you. But don't let your home become a burden when it has the potential to be a source of joy and tranquility. Your home should serve you, offering you the freedom to live comfortably and happily, without the weight of unnecessary stress or responsibility. 6. Avoid losing your sense of purpose. Living alone can bring with it a profound sense of freedom, but it can also lead to a feeling that you've lost your direction, especially as the years pass. For many, the routines and responsibilities that once filled their days, whether it was a career, raising children, or caring for a partner, fade away with retirement, loss, or changes in circumstance. Suddenly, without these roles to define us, it can feel as though our sense of purpose slips through our fingers. Many older adults express feeling like they're simply passing time, unsure of how to fill their days. They wake up each morning with nothing pressing to do, and that absence of structure or purpose can weigh heavily on the spirit. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know. that you are still here with me. But let me be clear, your life still holds incredible value. The beauty of life is that it offers endless opportunities to grow, to give and to learn, no matter your age or situation. Just because you're living alone doesn't mean you're living without purpose. You may not have the same daily responsibilities you once had, but that doesn't mean there isn't something meaningful waiting for you. The key is to keep exploring, to keep seeking out what makes your heart come alive. Because purpose isn't something that disappears, it's something that evolves. Think about the things that bring you joy or spark your curiosity. Is there a hobby you've always wanted to pursue but never had the time for? Now could be the perfect moment to dive into something new. Whether it's painting, gardening, knitting, or learning a new language, these activities aren't just pastimes, they're ways to engage your mind, feed your soul, and remind you that you're still capable of growth and creativity. One woman I know discovered her love for painting in her 70s. She had never picked up a brush before, but one day she decided to give it a try. Now her home is filled with vibrant, beautiful artwork, each piece a reflection of her journey of self-expression. Her paintings are more than just decorations. They are a testament to the fact that it's never too late to discover something new about yourself. Another powerful way to rediscover your sense of purpose is through giving back. Volunteering, as I mentioned earlier, is one of the most fulfilling ways to reconnect with your community and feel a sense of meaning. Whether it's working at a local charity, helping out at an animal shelter, or mentoring young people, there are countless ways to make a difference in the lives of others. One story that stands out to me is about an older man who found himself feeling lost after retirement. He had spent decades working in a fast-paced, high-pressure job, and once he stepped away from that, he wasn't sure how to fill his time. Then, he started mentoring young people in his community. At first, he wasn't sure what he had to offer, but as he got to know the kids, he realized that his years of experience and wisdom were invaluable. Through this connection, he found a deep sense of satisfaction and a renewed sense of purpose. His life was no longer about passing the time, it was about making a difference in someone else's life. And that's the beauty of purpose. It doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It can be found in the simplest acts of kindness, in the small joys of each day. Purpose can be as simple as tending to your garden, baking bread for a neighbor, or even taking time to care for yourself. The act of being present in your own life is, in itself, purposeful. Each day, you have the opportunity to make choices that enrich your life and the lives of those around you, even in small ways. The important thing to remember is that purpose isn't static. It's not something you find once and hold on to forever. It evolves as you do. Just because your life may look different now, whether due to retirement, the loss of a partner, or simply the passage of time, doesn't mean that your purpose has disappeared. It simply means that it's time to redefine it. Maybe your purpose now is to focus on self-care, nurture your creativity, or give back to your community in ways you hadn't considered before. The possibilities are endless, and life is full of opportunities to reinvent yourself, no matter your age. It's also important to understand that purpose isn't tied to productivity. In a world that often defines our value by what we achieve or produce, it can be easy to feel like you've lost your purpose when you're no longer working or taking care of others. But your worth is not determined by how busy you are or how much you accomplish. Sometimes, the most meaningful thing you can do is simply be present in your own life, in the lives of those you love, and in the small moments that bring you joy. Finding purpose might also mean embracing new challenges. Consider stepping outside of your comfort zone. If there's something you've always wanted to try but felt hesitant about, now is the time to go for it. Whether it's joining a book club, traveling to a new place, or starting a new hobby, each new experience can open doors to new connections and opportunities. One older woman shared how, after decades of living a quiet, routine life, she decided to learn how to sail. It was something she had always dreamed of but never pursued. Now, she spends her weekends on the water, discovering a sense of freedom and adventure that she never thought possible in her later years. And remember, purpose is deeply personal. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's journey. What brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? That's what matters. It could be spending time with family, helping others, creating art, or simply enjoying the peace of a quiet morning. Your purpose is unique to you, and it's something that only you can define. Living alone doesn't mean you have to live without purpose. It can be a time of profound personal growth and discovery. Life may not look the same as it once did, but that doesn't mean it's any less meaningful. As long as you keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting, you'll find that there's always something new to discover about yourself and the world around you. So don't let the absence of certain roles or routines make you feel like your purpose is lost. Your life is still full of possibilities. Every day is an opportunity to find joy, to give back, and to live with intention. You are valuable, your life has meaning, and your purpose is always within reach, even when you're living alone. 7. Avoid feeling like you have to do everything alone. One of the most common challenges that many older adults face when living alone is the belief that they need to handle everything by themselves. Whether it's out of pride, fear of being a burden, or simply a long-held sense of independence, there's often a hesitation to ask for help. But the truth is, living alone doesn't mean you have to go it alone. Life is not meant to be a solo journey, and there's no shame in reaching out when you need a hand. Asking for help can be one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. I recently heard a story that beautifully illustrates this point. A woman shared how, After her husband passed away, she found herself taking on every household chore and responsibility, even when it became physically and emotionally overwhelming. She didn't want to burden her adult children or ask her neighbors for help. For a long time, she felt like admitting she needed assistance would somehow make her less independent, as though asking for help was a sign of weakness. But as time went on, the stress began to take a toll on her health, and she realized that trying to do everything alone was only making her life harder, not better. Eventually, she decided to start asking her children for help with things like grocery shopping and home maintenance. At first, she was hesitant, worried they would see her differently, or that she was imposing on their busy lives. But to her surprise, her children were more than happy to step in. They wanted to help, and the simple act of allowing them to do so actually brought them closer as a family. She found that asking for help didn't diminish her independence at all. In fact, it allowed her to live more fully and without the constant burden of trying to do it all by herself. She had more time and energy to enjoy the things she loved, and the sense of relief was palpable. Her story is a powerful reminder that there's strength in community. No one is meant to do everything on their own, and living alone doesn't mean living without support. Whether it's asking a neighbor to pick up a few groceries, hiring someone to help with housework or yard maintenance, or simply having family members visit more often, accepting help can lighten your load and allow you to focus on what truly matters. The idea that independence means never needing anyone else is a myth. True independence is knowing when to rely on others to accept help with grace, so that you can continue living your life to the fullest. Sometimes the hardest part of asking for help is overcoming the internal barriers we set up for ourselves. We might worry that by seeking help, we'll be seen as incapable, or that we'll lose the respect of others. But more often than not, the people in your life want to help, they're just waiting for you to ask. Many people are happy to lend a hand, but they may not know what you need unless you let them know. Reaching out for assistance doesn't make you any less self-reliant. It simply acknowledges that we all need support at times. By sharing the load, you allow yourself to live with more ease and joy, rather than letting daily tasks overwhelm you. You think about it this way. Asking for help isn't about giving up control, it's about building a support system that allows you to maintain your independence sustainably. It's about recognizing that everyone, no matter their age or situation, benefits from a little assistance now and then. Whether it's practical help like cleaning or repairs, or emotional support from friends and loved ones, these connections are what enrich our lives. Community isn't just about proximity. It's about knowing you have people you can rely on, people who care about your well-being. You also don't have to wait until things feel overwhelming to ask for help. By planning and reaching out early, you can avoid letting small tasks pile up and become unmanageable. For example, if you know you have a doctor's appointment coming up, ask a friend or family member if they'd be willing to drive you or accompany you. If your yard work feels like too much to handle, consider hiring someone to take care of it regularly, rather than waiting until it's an urgent problem. Taking these proactive steps helps you stay on top of things without feeling like you're scrambling to catch up. And remember, help comes in many forms. It's not just about getting someone to assist with physical tasks, it's also about finding emotional support when you need it. Living alone can sometimes feel isolating, and having someone to talk to or spend time with can make a huge difference in your sense of well-being. Whether it's a weekly phone call with a friend, joining a social group, or even engaging with an online community, these interactions can provide comfort, joy, and connection. You don't have to navigate life's challenges on your own, and allowing others to be part of your journey can bring unexpected richness to your relationships. It's also important to remember that by asking for help, you may be allowing others to experience the joy of giving. Helping someone else can be deeply fulfilling, and you might be surprised at how eager people are to contribute when given the chance. Whether it's family members, friends, or even neighbors, many people take great satisfaction in knowing they've made a positive difference in someone's life. By allowing them to help, you're fostering a sense of connection and community that benefits everyone involved. Ultimately, the goal is to create a life where you feel supported, valued, and empowered. Asking for help when you need it is part of that process. It's a way to ensure that you can continue to live independently, but with the security of knowing you have a network of people who are there for you. Living alone doesn't have to mean feeling alone, and accepting help can open up a world of possibilities that allow you to live with greater ease and joy. So, don't be afraid to reach out. Whether it's for practical help or just a bit of companionship, there's no shame in seeking support. There's great wisdom in recognizing when you could use a helping hand. We all need each other, and building a strong, supportive community around you is one of the best things you can do for your well-being. You don't have to do it all on your own. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a powerful reminder that we are all interconnected, and that by leaning on one another, we can live fuller, richer lives. 8. Avoid neglecting your home environment. Living alone offers you the wonderful opportunity to create a space that is truly and entirely your own. Without anyone else to accommodate, you can make your home exactly how you like it, a place of comfort and personal expression. But that freedom can also make it easy to let things pile up or go unattended, especially when no one else is around to notice. Over time, clutter and neglect can start to creep in, turning what was once a haven into a source of stress. A disorganized home can affect not only your mood, but also your safety, creating hazards that make everyday living more difficult. I recently came across a story shared by a woman on a senior living forum. After her husband passed away, she found herself slowly losing the motivation to keep up with her home. Little by little, she let things accumulate: papers stacked on countertops, projects left unfinished, and rooms that went unused became storage spaces for all kinds of clutter. She didn't realize how much the state of her home was weighing on her emotionally until a friend came to visit. Her friend gently offered to help her reorganize, and together they spent a few days decluttering and tidying up. The transformation wasn't just in her home, it was in her mood, too. She hadn't realized how much the clutter had been affecting her mindset. After they finished, she felt lighter, clearer, and more at peace. Her home, once a source of stress, became a sanctuary again. This story is a powerful reminder that our environments deeply influence how we feel. When we neglect our living spaces, it's easy for that neglect to seep into other areas of our lives: our mood, our energy levels, and even our sense of purpose. But the good news is that taking control of your space, even in small ways, can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional well-being. You don't need to tackle everything all at once. Start with one small area, like a kitchen counter or a cluttered drawer, and go from there. As you slowly bring order to your surroundings, you'll likely notice a positive shift in how you feel. Keeping your living space tidy and organized doesn't just promote a more peaceful mindset, it also helps keep you safer. Clutter can quickly become a tripping hazard, especially in hallways, entryways, or near staircases. By reducing unnecessary items and keeping frequently used areas clear, you'll create a safer and more functional living environment. Make sure essential items like phones, glasses, or medications are easily accessible and stored in places where you won't have to search for them. These small, thoughtful adjustments can prevent accidents and make your daily routine smoother and more stress-free. You might find it helpful to think of maintaining your home not as a chore, but as an ongoing act of self-care. Just like taking care of your health, tending to your environment is a way of nurturing yourself. It's a way of telling yourself that you deserve to live in a space that is comfortable, organized, and free of chaos. A clean and orderly home can give you a sense of control and calm, even when life feels uncertain. Your home is your sanctuary, and keeping it in good shape is a gift you give to yourself. Of course, I understand that the idea of cleaning or reorganizing your entire home can feel overwhelming, especially if things have already gotten out of hand. But the key is to break it down into small, manageable steps. You don't have to deep clean every room or tackle every project in one day. Start with something simple, maybe clear off a table or sort through a few papers, and build from there. Set realistic goals for yourself, like spending 15 minutes a day tidying up or organizing one drawer each week. Over time, these small efforts will add up, and you'll find that your home becomes a more pleasant and peaceful place to be. If physical limitations make it difficult for you to maintain your home on your own, consider asking for help. Whether it's hiring a cleaner for a few hours a week or enlisting a friend or family member to assist you with certain tasks, you don't have to do it all alone. There's no shame in getting help to keep your space in order. It's just another way of taking care of yourself. Keeping your home organized can also have a positive impact on your mental clarity. When your physical space is cluttered, it can create a sense of overwhelm that affects your ability to focus and relax. On the other hand, an organized and clean environment can make you feel more in control and capable of handling whatever comes your way. Think about how good it feels to walk into a tidy room, where everything has its place, versus the stress of seeing piles of clutter or unfinished projects everywhere you turn. That sense of calm you feel when your space is in order isn't just in your head, it's real, and it can contribute to a happier, healthier mindset. Don't underestimate the power of small changes either. Something as simple as making your bed in the morning or tidying up the kitchen after a meal can set a positive tone for the rest of the day. These little acts of organization can create a sense of accomplishment and routine, which are especially important when you're living alone. They remind you that you are in control of your environment and that you have the power to shape your space in ways that support your well-being. In the end, your home should be a place that brings you peace, not stress. It should be a space where you can relax, recharge, and feel at ease. If your environment is cluttered or disorganized, it can be difficult to find that sense of calm. But by taking small, manageable steps to keep things in order, you can create a home that reflects the care and attention you deserve. Living alone doesn't mean you have to let your home fall into disarray. It's the perfect opportunity to create a space that is uniquely yours, a place that nurtures your soul and supports your well-being. So, take a moment to look around your space and ask yourself, how can I make this environment more peaceful, more functional, and more aligned with the life I want to live? Whether it's decluttering a little each day, organizing essential items for easy access, or simply keeping things tidy, the effort you put into your home will pay off in a greater sense of calm, safety, and happiness. Your home is your sanctuary. Take care of it, and it will take care of you. 9. Avoid losing track of time. Living alone, especially after retirement, can sometimes feel like floating through uncharted waters. Without the structure of a job or the constant presence of others to keep you grounded, the days can start to blur together. Monday might feel like Thursday, or maybe it doesn't matter at all what day it is. This kind of time blurring can lead to a sense of disorientation, even contributing to feelings of aimlessness or mild depression. When each day looks the same, it's easy to lose track of time and, in turn, lose touch with a sense of purpose. But you don't have to let time slip away unnoticed. I've read countless stories from people who found that one of the most powerful ways to counteract this sense of drifting was to create structure in their days. One man shared his experience of struggling with this after retiring. He found that without the rhythm of work, his days became an endless stretch of empty hours, and he quickly felt lost. That all changed when he decided to introduce a daily and weekly routine into his life. By setting specific tasks for himself on certain days, like grocery shopping every Wednesday or taking a morning walk at the same time each day, he began to feel more anchored. These simple routines gave his days shape and purpose, and soon, that lost feeling began to fade. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Having a routine, even a flexible one, can do wonders for keeping you grounded. Time has a way of slipping by unnoticed when there's no framework to hang it on, and creating a routine is like building a scaffolding for your days. It doesn't have to be complicated or overly strict, but just having a few daily touch points like waking up at the same time, enjoying your meals at set intervals, or dedicating certain hours to a hobby or project can add a sense of rhythm to your life. This rhythm provides more than just structure, it brings back a sense of control, which in turn helps combat the feelings of disorientation or aimlessness that can creep in when time starts to feel shapeless. And it's not just about filling the hours, it's about creating meaning within them. Routines give you something to look forward to each day, which can lift your spirits and keep you engaged with life. Even the smallest daily rituals can bring comfort. Enjoy a morning cup of tea in the garden, an afternoon walk through the park, or time spent reading before bed. These little anchors throughout your day remind you that life is structure and that each day holds its unique rhythm. When you know what's coming next, it's easier to stay present, focused, and connected to the world around you. Planning out your week in advance can also be incredibly helpful. A simple calendar can do wonders in giving your day shape, whether it's writing down appointments, setting reminders for social activities, or just jotting down what you want to accomplish each day. Having a visual representation of your time can prevent that sense of floating from one day to the next. It gives you something to look forward to, whether it's a lunch date with a friend, a visit to the farmer's market, or even a quiet day dedicated to a hobby. Knowing that you have a plan, even a loose one, can keep you from feeling aimless and provide structure to an otherwise open week. Maintaining a routine also offers a sense of achievement. Checking things off a list or simply sticking to a plan gives you small wins throughout the day, and those small victories add up. Even when you're retired, it feels good to know that you've accomplished something with your time. Whether it's organizing a drawer, cooking a meal, or completing a puzzle, these little tasks give a sense of progress, and progress gives purpose. That said, routine doesn't have to mean rigidity. There's plenty of room for spontaneity and flexibility. If you wake up one morning and decide you'd rather spend your day reading than working on a project you planned, that's perfectly fine. The beauty of living alone is that you have the freedom to adjust your routine to suit your mood and needs. But having that underlying structure in place ensures that when you want or need it, you can fall back on the comforting rhythms of daily life. For some, hobbies can become the backbone of their daily routines. Maybe it's gardening, painting, knitting, or learning a new skill. These activities not only fill the time, but they also provide you with a sense of purpose. A hobby can give you a reason to get up in the morning and a sense of fulfillment at the end of the day. And if your hobby can connect you with others, whether it's through an online forum, a local group, or even sharing your creations with friends and family, that connection can bring even more meaning to your daily routine. Exercise is another powerful way to bring structure to your days. A daily walk, stretching routine, or even joining a class can become a cornerstone of your schedule. Exercise not only boosts your mood and health, but also gives you a reason to move and get outside. That bit of fresh air, combined with the endorphins from physical activity, can do wonders for lifting your spirits and keeping you engaged with life. It's also important to recognize that losing track of time isn't just about forgetting the day of the week, it's about losing touch with life's flow. Time helps us mark progress, growth, and change. When days begin to blur together, it's easy to feel like you're standing still while the world moves on around you. But by creating a routine, you're re-engaging with time, making each day meaningful in its way. You're giving yourself the gift of presence, the chance to feel rooted in the here and now rather than drifting through time without purpose. So, don't let time slip through your fingers unnoticed. Take charge of your days by creating simple routines that bring structure, joy, and purpose back into your life. Whether it's scheduling weekly activities, planning out meals, or dedicating time to hobbies, these small acts of organization can bring clarity to your time and meaning to your days. After all, living alone doesn't mean your days should feel empty or directionless. It means you have the freedom to shape your time in a way that brings you fulfillment, peace, and joy. 10. Avoid holding on to things out of sentimentality. Sentimental items have a way of tugging at our hearts. They remind us of the people, places, and moments that shaped our lives, and holding on to them can feel like holding on to those memories themselves. There's a deep comfort in keeping these mementos close, whether it's a loved one's old sweater, a piece of jewelry passed down through generations, or even a stack of letters from a different time in life. But while these items can bring joy and nostalgia, they can also start to pile up, cluttering your home and your mind. There's a fine line between cherishing memories and being weighed down by the past. I once came across a story that struck me. It was about an older woman who, after her husband's passing, found herself unable to part with any of his belongings. She held on to his clothes, tools, and paperwork. Everything he had touched seemed to carry immense sentimental value. For a long time, she felt as though letting go of those items would be like letting go of him, of their life together. But over the years, her home became cluttered, and the space that was once her sanctuary felt more like a museum of the past, a place she was afraid to disturb. It wasn't until her children offered to help her sort through the house that she began to realize how much all those belongings were holding her back. The process was slow and emotional, as each item brought with it a flood of memories. But with her family's support, she was able to part with many of the things that no longer served a purpose in her life. She kept a few key pieces that truly mattered: his favorite jacket, a special photo, a small collection of keepsakes, and let the rest go. She shared in a video that it was as though she was making room for new memories, rather than clinging so tightly to the past. Her home, once filled with things she couldn't bear to part with, became a lighter, more peaceful space. This story is a reminder that letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean that the memories tied to those items lose their significance. Instead, it's about creating space for yourself, both physically and emotionally, to move forward. Sometimes we hold on to things because we're afraid that without them, we'll lose the connection to the people or moments we associate with them. But the truth is, those memories live inside us. They're not tied to objects. It's perfectly okay to keep a few meaningful items, those special pieces that truly spark joy or hold deep personal significance. But keeping everything can become a burden, not just in terms of clutter, but also emotionally. Having too many sentimental items around can make it harder to let go of the past and embrace the present. It can create a sense of stagnation, where the past takes up so much space that there's no room for new experiences, new memories, and new beginnings. If you find it hard to part with sentimental items, a helpful approach is to take things one step at a time. You don't have to declutter everything at once. Start by going through one box, one drawer, or one closet at a time. As you go, ask yourself which items hold the most meaning, and which ones you're keeping out of obligation or guilt. For the things that you decide to let go of, consider taking photos of them before passing them on. That way, you can keep the memory without needing to hold on to the physical object. It's a way to honor the past while still creating a sense of lightness and freedom in your home. Another option is to pass meaningful items on to others who will appreciate them. If there are items that carry family history, consider sharing them with your children, grandchildren, or close friends. By doing so, you're not only decluttering your space, but you're also ensuring that these objects continue to hold meaning for someone else. This act of passing things on can be incredibly fulfilling. It allows you to share your legacy while making room in your life for what comes next. Decluttering can be an emotional process, especially when it involves items that are tied to important memories. But ultimately, it's also a freeing one. As you let go of things that no longer serve you, you make space for new energy, new possibilities, and new memories. Your home should be a place that reflects who you are now, not just who you were. It's about creating a space that brings you peace, comfort, and a sense of control over your life. By choosing to keep only the most meaningful items, you're not diminishing the importance of the past. You're simply acknowledging that it doesn't need to define your present. You're permitting yourself to move forward, to create new experiences, and to live fully in the moment. And that's a beautiful thing. In the end, sentimentality is a delicate balance. It's about honoring the past without being overwhelmed by it. It's about recognizing that memories aren't tied to things, but to the experiences and emotions that shaped us. Letting go of objects doesn't mean letting go of those memories. It simply means making room for the next chapter of your life. By decluttering in this way, you'll likely find that your home and your mind feel lighter, freer, and more open to whatever the future holds. You deserve to live in a space that supports your happiness, not one that weighs you down. 11. Avoid skipping emergency preparedness. One of the most important yet often overlooked aspects of living alone, especially as an older adult, is being adequately prepared for emergencies. Whether it's a power outage, a medical crisis, or a natural disaster, having a plan in place is critical. When you live alone, there's no one else to rely on in these situations. You're the first, and perhaps the only responder to your needs. Being caught off guard during an emergency can leave you feeling vulnerable, isolated, and overwhelmed. But with some forethought and preparation, you can protect yourself and feel more secure no matter what comes your way. I remember reading about a man who shared his experience of being caught unprepared during a sudden snowstorm. The storm knocked out power for several days, and while he had enough food to last, he hadn't charged his phone or set up any backup lighting. Without power, his phone quickly died, leaving him unable to contact anyone for help or even to check on the news for updates. He found himself sitting in the dark, feeling cut off from the world, vulnerable, and uncertain of how long the situation would last. That experience was a wake-up call for him. After the storm passed, he took proactive steps to ensure he would never find himself in that position again. He invested in a portable phone charger, put together a basic emergency kit, and bought several battery-operated lights. That small amount of preparation gave him peace of mind, knowing he was ready for whatever might come. This story is a powerful reminder that preparedness isn't about living in fear, it's about feeling empowered and ready for the unexpected. Emergencies, by their nature, are unpredictable, but that doesn't mean we can't take steps to minimize their impact on our lives. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to create an emergency plan tailored to your unique living situation. The process doesn't have to be complicated, but it should cover a few essential areas to ensure you're as prepared as possible. Start by making a list of emergency contacts and keeping it easily accessible. This should include not only close family and friends, but also local services such as your doctor, a nearby hospital, and utility companies. In an emergency, you don't want to waste precious time searching for phone numbers, so having everything written down and within reach is a simple but critical step. Next, assemble an emergency kit that contains essentials to get you through a few days without power or access to supplies. This should include non-perishable food, bottled water, medications, a first aid kit, and some form of lighting, like flashlights or battery-powered lanterns. Don't forget extra batteries for any devices you may need, as well as a portable phone charger or power bank to keep your phone operational if the power goes out. Having these items on hand can make a world of difference in how you weather an unexpected situation, both physically and emotionally. If you have specific medical needs, such as regular medications, be sure to keep an extra supply in your emergency kit, enough to last you several days. For those who rely on medical equipment that requires electricity, such as oxygen tanks or mobility aids, it's crucial to have a backup plan in case of a power outage. Speak with your healthcare provider about emergency options, including portable generators or alternative power sources, to ensure you'll be covered if the lights go out. For those living in areas prone to extreme weather, such as hurricanes, snowstorms, or wildfires, make sure you're familiar with evacuation procedures and have a clear plan in place. Know the safest places in your community where you can seek shelter if needed, and always keep your car's gas tank full during storm seasons. Stocking up on essential supplies like food, water, and medications before an event hits will also ensure you're not left scrambling at the last minute when stores may be closed or overrun. One of the most valuable steps you can take is to stay informed. Whether it's keeping an eye on the weather forecast, subscribing to emergency alerts on your phone, or maintaining communication with neighbors, being aware of potential threats can give you the time you need to get prepared. Make it a habit to check in with your local news or emergency services regularly so that you're never caught off guard by changing conditions. Another useful tip is to practice your emergency plan every so often. It might seem unnecessary, but going through the motions of what you would do in an emergency can help solidify the steps in your mind, making it easier to act quickly and confidently when needed. This is especially important if you live with any physical limitations or rely on medical equipment. Practicing ensures you know how to access your supplies, use backup power, or evacuate safely if the situation calls for it. There's also immense value in building a support network within your community. Even if you live alone, you don't have to face emergencies completely on your own. You get to know your neighbors, and don't be afraid to reach out to them during challenging times. Often neighborhoods come together during crisis, and having someone nearby to check on you, share resources, or lend a hand can make all the difference. Being part of a community, even a small one, provides additional layers of safety and reassurance. Remember, being prepared isn't just about survival, it's about peace of mind. Emergencies are stressful enough without the added worry of not being ready. By taking a little time now to prepare, you're giving yourself the gift of confidence, knowing that if something happens, you're ready to handle it. Living alone doesn't mean you're vulnerable or unprotected. It means that the responsibility of preparedness falls solely on you, and that's an empowering realization. You can take control of your safety to ensure that no matter what happens, you have the resources and the plan in place to get through it. In doing so, you're not just protecting yourself from the immediate effects of an emergency, you're also protecting your emotional well-being. You're giving yourself the security and stability needed to stay calm and resilient during life's unexpected challenges. 12. Avoid financial disorganization. As you grow older and life shifts, it can be surprisingly easy to lose track of your finances. When you're living alone, there are fewer people around to help keep you accountable, and without someone else to rely on for managing bills, bank accounts, and paperwork, it can start to pile up. Many people underestimate how quickly financial disorganization can turn from a minor annoyance into a significant source of stress and even insecurity. Whether it's forgetting about automatic payments, losing track of subscriptions, or misplacing important documents, neglecting your finances can sneak up on you, and before you know it, you're feeling overwhelmed. I read a story that perfectly illustrates this point. After her husband passed away, one woman found herself in charge of their finances for the first time in decades. Her husband had always handled paying the bills, managing subscriptions, and keeping track of their accounts. At first, she wasn't sure where to begin, and without realizing it, several months passed before she took a close look at her bank statements. To her shock, she discovered that she had been paying for services she no longer used, things like streaming subscriptions and utility bills that were no longer relevant to her. It wasn't that she didn't have the money to cover them. It was the stress of feeling like she had lost control of her finances. The sheer volume of paperwork and the unfamiliarity of managing it all left her feeling overwhelmed and uncertain. Fortunately, she enlisted the help of a trusted family member who helped her go through everything step by step. Together, they set up a system that worked for her, canceling unused subscriptions, setting up automatic payments for essential bills, and organizing important financial documents in one place. Once she had a clear understanding of her financial situation, A huge weight was lifted off her shoulders. The fear and confusion gave way to confidence and control. Her story is a reminder that financial disorganization is more than just a logistical headache. It can be emotionally draining too. When your finances are in disarray, it's easy to feel like things are slipping through the cracks, and that feeling of being out of control can create anxiety. But the good news is that with a little bit of effort and a solid system, you can stay on top of your finances and avoid the stress that comes from disorganization. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 5 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Start by creating a simple system for managing your money. If you don't already have automatic payments set up for essential bills like utilities, mortgage or rent, and insurance, do so now. This way, you won't have to worry about forgetting to make payments each month, and you can ensure that your most important expenses are always covered. Automatic payments can take a lot of the guesswork out of your finances, especially if you find it difficult to keep track of due dates. Another important step is to review your bank statements regularly, ideally every month. This allows you to catch any unnecessary charges or recurring payments for services you no longer use. It's easy to forget about automatic subscriptions, especially if they're small amounts that don't make a big dent in your account. But those small charges can add up over time, and you may find that you're spending money on things that no longer serve you. By taking the time to review your statements, you can ensure that your money is being spent intentionally and wisely. Keep important financial documents organized in one place where they're easy to find when you need them. This includes things like tax returns, insurance policies, wills, and any other significant paperwork related to your finances. Having a designated spot for these documents ensures that when the time comes to access them, whether for tax season, a legal matter, or simply for your records, you won't have to search through piles of paperwork or worry about misplacing something critical. For many people, especially those who haven't had to manage finances on their own before, it can feel intimidating to take full control of the process. If this is the case for you, don't hesitate to ask for help. Whether it's a trusted family member, a friend, or even a financial advisor, there are plenty of people who can offer guidance and support. Enlisting someone else to help you navigate your financial situation doesn't mean you're incapable. It means you're wise enough to recognize when assistance is needed. Sometimes, all it takes is a second pair of eyes to help you feel more confident and clear-headed about where your money is going. It's also worth considering whether you might benefit from working with a professional. A financial advisor can help you assess your current financial situation, identify areas for improvement, and create a plan for managing your money that aligns with your goals. If you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure about your long-term financial health, having a professional in your corner can offer peace of mind. The key is to stay proactive by taking small, consistent steps to stay on top of your finances, whether it's setting up automatic payments, reviewing your bank statements regularly, or simply staying organized. You can prevent small issues from turning into larger problems down the line. Financial security is about more than just having enough money. It's about feeling in control of your financial life and confident in your ability to manage it. And remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's about creating habits that make managing your money easier and less stressful. By organizing your finances and taking the time to review them regularly, you're not only avoiding potential financial pitfalls, but you're also giving yourself the freedom to focus on other things that matter. When your finances are in order, you can rest easy, knowing that everything is being handled, and you can fully enjoy the present without the nagging worry of what's being forgotten. In the end, staying on top of your finances is about more than just numbers on a page. It's about creating stability, peace of mind, and control over your future. By avoiding financial disorganization, you're setting yourself up for success and ensuring that you can live your life with confidence and security. Your financial health is an essential part of your overall well-being, and taking care of it now will only benefit you in the long run. As we come to the end of this important conversation about the things to avoid when living alone, it's essential to reflect on what we've learned so far. From staying on top of your health and finances to preparing for emergencies and maintaining meaningful connections, each of these points plays a crucial role in ensuring that life, even when lived alone, is fulfilling, secure, and enriching. Now, I want to ask you, what have you learned from these insights? And is there one piece of advice that resonated with you the most? I encourage you to think about one thing you've learned today and how you can bring it into practice in your own life. Share that with us in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If you found value in this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on more helpful content like this. Thanks for watching.